Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.
Well, thank you very much. This is one of the regular visits. I come here, or I come with sometimes come with my colleague and friend and brother, the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Today I'm alone, but I've come to update Mr. President on the activities that are lined up in the Senate, particularly, and the National Assembly in general. You recall that we have several bills, very important ones at that are pending, and we are working round the clock. We are at the moment dotting the I's and crossing the T's on the PIB, the Petroleum Industry Bill, and by the grace of God, our committees, the joint committees, will finish their work on it by the end of the week. Hopefully, the reports would be laid on Tuesday in both chambers. This is what we have planned, and this is what we are working towards. You also know that the President, the executive arm of government, had submitted a supplementary budget request. In the Senate, we have had the second reading yesterday, and we have given the appropriate committee, the appropriations committee, particularly to deal with it with relevant committees of defense-related and other security agencies-related committees, and of course for COVID-19 vaccines that we have to procure, we need the health committee and of course the primary health care committee as well to work on the supplementary budget request of Mr. President. And we expect a report on this by Tuesday, by the grace of God, and we may consider that report on Wednesday next week, so that we're able to pass the request because of the urgency and the need for us to hit the ground running. We need to give so much attention to our security agencies because of the situation across the country, and of course the COVID-19 vaccines procurement is also an essential thing that we need to do. We also have some work to do on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Our committee in the Senate and indeed in the House have worked jointly, and we have very little to do really to get the report laid and considered in the two chambers. We expect that we'll do that before we go on our annual summer recess, which comes up sometimes on the 15th of July by the grace of God. So before we go on summer recess, we should be able to pass the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. We also have outstanding confirmation requests for national commissioners of INEC. We'll do that. We'll consider those confirmation requests from Mr. President before we go. We also have the law request from Mr. President. The loan request particularly is to fund the 2021 Appropriation Act. And of course, this is not a new request. It's something that we had passed in the MTEF, and it's something that when we passed the budget 2021, we also passed that. So it's only to give the necessary legislative approval for the government, for the administration to go further and collect the funds. What I want to assure Nigerians here is that we are not going to be frivolously supporting or approving loans for the executive arm of government. Whenever we have to approve any loan, we have to insist on the details of what projects will be funded for those by those loans. We have to look at the conditions that are attached to the loans. There must be favorable conditions before we approve, and we will be up to date with our oversight to ensure that what we have approved is directly deployed and on those projects that we have also approved for implementation. So we will not be frivolous, and we will not take it lightly to just approve any loan. And our options are really very limited as a country. First, we don't have the necessary revenues. Nigeria is poor. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. Nigeria is not rich. Given the circumstances we live in, given the challenges we have, our resources are so low, our revenues are so low, and therefore the option of not doing anything, just to sit because we have no money, we shouldn't go for infrastructure development, is not even an option worthy of consideration. You cannot keep the economy stagnant. Two, you cannot, in my view and judgment, tax Nigerians further for you to raise the money for infrastructure development. Other countries do that, but we have serious situation across the country. So you cannot put taxes on people. The other option is public-private partnership. You need to create the environment to attract investors to come into your country. Because of the security challenges we face today, not many investors would like to come to Nigeria. In fact, even those inside Nigeria may not like to invest properly in this sector of infrastructure development. So the only option left is for us to borrow responsibly, utilize prudently and economically, and ensure that the projects are self-sustaining, that they can pay back the loans, that Nigerian economy will benefit from the implementation of such infrastructure development. So that is the only option we have. And I believe that Nigerians will understand. Of course, it's not desirable. It's not something that we like to. No Nigerian would like to have. In fact, even an individual would not like to be on loan. But when you have to, when you must, then you have to. And I want to be very practical here, that we do so with that feeling of this is our country, we must move forward, we must provide the enabling environment for our economy to grow and Nigeria to develop. So there are really series of issues that we discussed with Mr. President, and Mr. President has always shown his support for the National Assembly and respect for the members of the National Assembly. And I believe that he will always be there to ensure that those people manning the side of the executive, those ministers, special advisors, and so on and so forth, are also doing exactly the same. When we approve loan, that they also, at their own level, of the executive level, are able to be responsible, because when we detect anything going wrong, we will not show any understanding. We will be stiff, will be rigid, just like I said yesterday in plenary. There were MDA, chief executives of some MDS who refused to appear before our Public Accounts Committee. I've given an advice to the Public Accounts Committee in the Senate, right, to remind them, if they fail, give us a list of all of them, we'll publish the names, and we'll insist that they are brought to the National Assembly under a warrant of arrest. So, but we want something smooth. We want to have a relationship that is decent, that is cordial, for the benefit of the people of Nigeria. So I'm very happy with discussions I had with Mr. President, and of course this is our house as well, as Nigerians. Mr. President is available to us to talk on other issues, probably including what our party is doing. And I'm sure this is something that most Nigerians are interested in, what APC is doing. And APC, the caretaker committee, is doing well. And I'm sure very soon we'll start to have our congresses culminating in the convention sometimes this year.
On the loan, some will argue that with the improved oil revenue, there will be no need for more borrowing. Are there?
I'm not a very vast person in the knowledge of the petroleum industry or economy, but let me say this. Because we don't refine our petroleum products here in the country, when the price of crude goes up, we get a certain percentage of increase, right? Because we export. But because we import refined products, which have higher value because of the value addition, probably what we might have gained in the sale of your crude would not even be sufficient to pay for the additional funds you have to pay for the importation of the refined petroleum products. So it doesn't mean that you sell the crude because it's now 70. In fact, I am sure those in the handling the economy get worried sometimes when the price of crude goes up, because they know the consequences of importation at that rate. So I think it's not yet uhuru for us to say we are not going to take loan because there is increase in the price of crude. It may not translate into that kind of advantage.
Kun ga shugaban kasa ya ranka kuma ɗaya daga cikin batutuwan da